Hi, let's look at this part of the video where we are covering the Quicksight related thumb rules. Please remember these are very important certification essentials which will assure successfully passing the exam. Which exams we are talking? We are talking about AWS Cloud Practitioner and AWS Solution Architect Associate. Now, if you're looking for other exams like Data Specialty or AWS Solution Architect Professional, this will also help you there. But to be very specific, I'm covering the topics which are very important from AWS Cloud Practitioner and AWS Solution Architect Associate perspective. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up if you like my videos. It helps me understand what is the pulse of the audience and what more you're looking for. If you have any constructive comments or if you think there are some other topics that you want me to create videos, please let me know by dropping in your comments. Now let's jump to the thumb rules. The first one, what is Quicksight? Quicksight is a BI tool. Okay? When we are talking about a business intelligence tool, what it does is, if you're not coming from this background, from a data or analytics background, you should remember Quicksight is a business intelligence tool which is used to create visualizations. Viz. Okay, it is similar to Power BI or Tableau, but it is not similar to Cognos or MicroStrategy or Business Objects. Those three products are falling in the category of traditional BI, but QuickSight is a modern BI. Power BI is a modern BI. Tableau is a modern BI. Okay, so QuickSight is a competitor of Power BI, Tableau, which falls in the modern BI category. If you happen to come from a background where you do not understand what a viz is, see, this is an example of a dashboard or a visualization. This is the dashboard which has different viz. This is one viz, okay, and these are different viz which are giving you different data points. So why this tool is important? Because the business intelligence tools gives you insight to different data points all in one go on one screen. You can also create tabs. You see these are tabs so that you can navigate across. Nobody has to write any code to understand the data. The data is already sanitized, cleansed, and made available so that you can make sense out of it. So the key with creating Wiz is your data. For example, this 65K, this should be a trusted data. Okay. So this tool is specifically used to build only visualizations. It can connect to a variety of data sources. See, Tableau became popular in the market. Why? Because there are two things. First is the ease of creation of dashboards, and the second is it has provided connectors to a wide variety of data sources. Similarly, QuickSight, it boasts that it can also connect to a wide variety of data sources. Just an example I'm telling you, if you are on a project which uses AWS and you know that your data sources are using AWS products like Redshift, Aurora, Athena, RDS, the recommendation is you should use QuickSight. But if you think you have data sources which are spread across different cloud platforms, maybe uh, you have Azure, or maybe you also have data sources on-prem. Okay, if that is the case, uh, my experience is to use Tableau, but QuickSight also says you can use QuickSight there as well because it provides connectors for SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, and so on. So in the exam, you would get scenarios where they would give you a data source which may be on cloud, on-prem, and so on, and they will just check we want to create a Wiz and which tool is apt for it. So QuickSight is apt for that. in the certification exam, they would constantly keep asking these questions. Is QuickSight going to increase your CAPEX expenses? QuickSight will only utilize your OPEX expenses. There are no CAPEX expenses. What is CAPEX and OPEX? CAPEX is like if you are buying a car, that's a CAPEX because you're paying upfront. Whether you take a car loan or you pay cash, but that is a CAPEX. But what is OPEX is you are renting your car from Hertz. And what you're basically doing is you're just paying for the monthly expenses. That is the operational cost. Okay. So with QuickSight, you have no capex, and that is the difference if you're using Tableau or you're using Power BI or something else. Suppose you're using Tableau here, you will have to host the Tableau on EC2 instances. You will have to, you know, provision those EC2 instances. Even though EC2 instances work in a pay-as-you-go model, but what happens is you have to maintain the servers where you install Tableau. QuickSight eliminates that need. So you don't need to buy long-term licenses. If you're doing Tableau, you need to first buy a long-term license and then you have to put it here. But nowadays, Salesforce also provides spots where Tableau is hosted as a SaaS, and you can leverage that in the same model without buying a long-term license. But when you compare this with traditional BI, like you are comparing QuickSight with traditional BI, in traditional BI, you have to buy long-term licenses like Cognos, MicroStrategy, Business Objects, and so on, Pentaho. Now, who is using these BI products like QuickSight? Who uses this? These are the clients. NFL, that is the National Football League, Siemens, Volvo, Rio Tinto. These are the clients who are already using QuickSight for creating base. Now, this topic is important from a certification standpoint because they do ask a question on this about SPICE. The SPICE is in-memory calculation engine. You should remember that. QuickSight, the heart of QuickSight is SPICE. It's super fast parallel in-memory calculation engine. Now, just a bit of more insight, which is not important from a certification standpoint, but from a knowledge standpoint. These products, like when Cognos, MicroStrategy, Business Objects were on, Tableau, Click, and these products, what they did is they created separate products which were heavily based on in-memory stuff. So they created their own patented technology for processing these in-memory data. Similar to that, QuickSight did the same. It created its own technology called SPICE to do the same. SPICE is a combination of columnar. So you see, nowadays, always remember, you can get this question in an AWS Solution Architect exam. Columnar is the key. When I talk about columnar, if you are using Oracle or SQL Server or DB2 as a database, these are all relational databases. It stores data in raw format, okay? But it has limitations. If the quantum of data goes up, it has limitations with respect to performance. Your reports become very slow. Your BI analytics becomes very slow. So, okay. So what do you do? That's the reason the technology was invented for columnar storage. It stores the data in columns so that, and same was put in memory, and some sort of hardware innovations were done and machine code generation was done so that it gives you the optimum performance. This is how a typical architecture looks like. And where does QuickSight reside here? It resides here. This is QuickSight. Okay, it resides here. And if you see, this is your transactional system. The data flows in. You use Glue because this is your ETL. Okay, and you do all sort of data transformation, processing, and etc. And then you can plug QuickSight. So whenever you have to use QuickSight over, say, Glue, or S3, you have to use Athena. That is the middleman that you have to plug. So this is where Quicksight falls in terms of architecture. This is very important from a certification standpoint because you need to understand in the overall flow at which position is Quicksight. This is where Quicksight resides. Okay. Now this one is important. Can you integrate SageMaker with Quicksight? Yes, you can integrate this. There are API calls which Quicksight has to make, and this is the beauty. You can create augmented or embedded analytics. What it means is you create some sort of analysis using SageMaker, putting AI and ML stuff there, and then you want to put a Wiz on top of it to display it on Quicksight. That is doable. That is possible. Okay. Uh, One thing to remember from a certification standpoint is there are two roles, author and reader. Author can create and host the reports. Reader can read the report, view the reports, and you can plug Quicksight on mobile devices. You can use iOS or iPhones, Android devices, and so on. Your reports are accessible there. Now let's look at this thumb rule. So we need to understand that Quicksight can connect to on-premises data sources as well. Sometimes in the exam, they ask this question that the data sources are spread across cloud and on-prem platforms. Will Quicksight work? It will work. So, and imagine if the data that is being used by Quicksight for creating Wiz, it is not up to the mark. That means it is not sanitized. So using Quicksight, you can do some basic sort of data preparation so that some level of sanitization can be done using Quicksight. It is not as robust and complex as an ETL tool, but it would work without worrying about putting a complex ETL and increasing the cost of processing the data. And one of the key advantages of Quicksight is the solution is like scalable like anything. So usually, if you are coming from a reporting background or an analytics background, you always understand that the more the data volume, the slower is the performance of your analytics applications. But with Quicksight, that is not the case. It is a scalable solution. It is a managed service, so it can handle the volume or the quantum of data from 100 MB to terabytes, and you don't have to do infrastructure management. This is the key. You do not do infrastructure management, whereas if you are in an on-premises solution or if you're using VMs or EC2 instance to install DBI software, then you will have to do some level of upgrade, patch, and so on. Quicksight is basically a SaaS solution, software as a service. It's a managed infrastructure. AWS manages it for you. So this comes in the exam. The way they frame the question is like you have terabytes of data, and then you also have some other tools like Power BI and etc. So what is the choice of the tool and why? Just for a knowledge sake, you can integrate this with IAM. So any service in AWS usually integrates with identity access management that is used to control access to the service. So that is IAM. And then in Quicksight, you have two kind of roles. One user role, the other is admin role. Okay. So with Quicksight, how it works is suppose you have an AWS account, you can create your own Quicksight account, and by default when you create that account you have been provided admin roles. You can choose to downgrade that to a user role as well. So this is a bit of a typo. By default you get admin role by default, and then you can downgrade your roles. So one of the feature which is very important for data analytics exam is autograph. So Quicksight has autograph features. That means you just plug it to the data source, and it has a smart engine which identifies what is the cardinality, data type, relationships between the tables, and then it automatically gives you a choice of this, like for this sort of data, these many dimensions, these many facts, this sort of is suits. It does it automatically. If you're lazy and want to use this feature, you can. This is similar to IBM Watson. IBM Watson also has similar features. Believe me, none of the developers use these features because you always have to create an extremely customized analytics base for your clients. But this feature may be useful for some of the business users who are not very tech savvy to create reports, so they can use it. As a developer in your life, you would never use it. You should understand the concept of dashboard. Dashboard has multiple ways plugged together. It's called dashboard. It has a collection of ways, tables, and other visual displays arranged and visible together. So that's a dashboard. You will get a question for on dashboard as well, like you are creating a dashboard for this and this functionality, and then what is the choice of tool? So the choice of tool would be Quicksight. Okay, they would also try to try to confuse you with cloud metrics or some other tools, but this is the tool. So this is the typical dashboard. I showed you one dashboard at the start of this video. This is also one more example where you have multiple views. You see this? You have multiple views. This is one view. This is one view. Then you have these views where you are plugging the KPIs at the aggregated level. Apart from dashboards, there is something called stories. This is also important for a certification exam. Stories, they are guided tours through specific views of your analysis. If you think that you have a dashboard and then you want to give a guided tour that, hey, you know what, these are the set of summarized KPIs, but if you want to understand which orders contribute to these KPIs, then let me take you through a tour. These are the orders, and what are the order details? These are the order details which contribute to these orders. So that's a specific tool. This is important for exam as well, because I do see sometimes they plug a question about a story. So if you talk about story, it is still Quicksight. And then security. Let's understand some of the security aspects. Quicksight, if you see this data, okay, everybody can see this data. If it is publicly accessible, people can understand what this company is doing from an audit standpoint. You don't want this to be exposed to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So what you do is you got to plug extra mechanism so that people cannot have free access to your data points. So Quicksight integrates very well with multi-factor authentication mechanisms. So it's not only the username and password that you enter, you also have to put a second layer, which is a multi-factor authentication, which gives you some sort of token IDs on your mobile devices so that you can use that. So what happens is there will be two passes. The first one is you enter the credentials. Okay, I'm not referring to the credit card. This is the credentials. Okay, and then it will send you a code, something like a OTP, and then you have to enter that as well to access this. So it is secured. This is important from exam standpoint. I do see questions linked with this. And this one is also important from exam standpoint. You can implement row level security. Okay, what is row level security? For example, you belong to sales department, someone else belongs to marketing department, someone else belongs to technical support department. Okay, the data of each department should not be cross accessible. If you want to implement that and somehow your database guys have not done a good job, they just have given you one database, one table where these, or multiple tables where there is no segregation based on the departments. What can you do? The only thing you can do is implement a row level security. Okay, so that certain rows will be accessible by certain departments and the other rows will be accessible by other departments without any overlap. That is called row level security. This is also important from exam standpoint. There are two sort of licenses: standard edition, enterprise edition. Obviously, standard edition is the cheaper one, enterprise edition is the costlier one. It has more features, but in the exam, I have seen questions where they talk about some licenses, like these editions that they have for Quicksight, and then they ask that can I still create Wiz with this edition, etc. You can create Wiz with both the editions. So this brings us to the fag end of this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the thumbs up if you like my videos. It helps me motivate myself to put in some more content which is useful from a cloud certification standpoint. Please do refer to some other parts of this thumbnail playlist. In this playlist there are several videos which will help you navigate and understand what is being asked in the certification exams. See you in the next part. Till then, bye.